So, if you pay attention to my Twitter, which you definitely should, link in the description, you'd know that I started watching Fairytail. Yes, that's right. I started watching Fairytail in 2023, and I know absolutely nobody will give one, but I'm here to give my thoughts on the handful I've watched so far. I'm about, I think, 52, 53 episodes in, just after the Battle of Fairytail arc. So let's just give my initial thoughts. If you want the long and short of it, then, well, is it good? Nah. Do I feel like I'm wasting my time? Also, no. Right now I'm busy with exams and stuff, so having something that I can just turn my brain off for is quite nice. Don't get me wrong though, it's not good, but that's not a revolutionary take. It's not a hot take. You've probably heard that countless times. The fight scenes, at least early on, are okay. Obviously, I'm not gonna rip into it for, like, animation quality or reusing assets and such and such and such, because, again, Fairy Tail's very old. I believe it started in 2007? At least the anime. So I won't comment on the visuals, at least. Sometimes the visuals are pretty cool. Sometimes. As for the plot, well, let's start with the characters. So Natsu, he's just, you know, fucking shonen protag, gung-ho, fighty McPunchman, Dragon Slayer, fire magic, sure. He's kind of there. He likes food. He's pretty stupid most of the time. But, you know, friendship, guys. I'll stick up for my friends and, yeah, typical shonen stuff. You got Lucy, who's very much also, but friendship, guys. Power of friendship. She summons spirits and shit. You probably noticed. I probably don't need to run down what they do. Erza, she's just, like, stoic, cool woman that has had, at least in this first bit, actually had some backstory. Yes, Lucy has as well, with, you know, being fucking rich if she didn't run away from home. But Erza, you know, we find out about her past with Seagrain / Jalal / Mistogan, but Mistogan just looks like him but isn't actually him, at least as far as he's said himself. We'll talk about that later. Erza's cool, obviously. Gray, again, we've also had a bit of Gray's backstory. We know his motivations, at least during the whatever the fuck island arc, where there's, like, moon drip. I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't help but laugh my ass off when I first heard moon drip. So all I could think of as, like, fucking space Yeezys or some shit. Maybe not Yeezys, but just space high fashion, which was fun. Yeah. As for, like, the actual story itself, obviously there's more characters, but yeah, we'll get into those, I guess, maybe. I guess we'll start with, like, the first arc, which is the first real arc, is, like, the Lullaby arc. It's okay, I guess. Nothing particularly relevant happens there. It introduces Erza, basically, and, you know, what she does, how she, oh, look, she's badass and shit, bro. Everything before the Lullaby stuff's kind of, like, episodic. Yes, there's the bit where Lucy gets the Virgo key, because Happy steals it in that mansion with the guy where they go get the book. Which is a couple of episodes, I think, but I wouldn't really call that an arc. Anyway. The Lullaby, yeah, it's okay. It doesn't really, in my opinion, do a whole lot. Yes, it's implied that Eligor, the guy that Natsu fights on the bridge that the train tracks are on the way to the thing, the Council of the Guildmasters, he'll probably show up somewhere later down the line, or at least you would assume, given that they go out of the way to say that, oh, but he was never caught. Oh, we don't know where he is. Spooky. So he'll probably show up again. Yeah, that arc, other than setting up that Eligor might show up later, the arc doesn't really serve much of a purpose. I guess actually, no, it does. It introduces Zeref and Zeref's demons. So there's that as well, because that will come up in a bit. Then you have the whatever the fuck it was called, Island arc, where we find out about Gray's backstory. You know, there's the curse on the island, but it turns out the curse was actually that their memories were being fucked with. Oh, that was an interesting twist. I actually didn't see that coming out. That was, honestly, kind of an interesting twist. Doesn't really matter, but it was interesting. It was cool seeing Erza break the sky, I guess, with Natsu's help. We also get, like, the final battle. There's literally an episode in that arc called the final battle of whatever the fuck island. And then Natsu punches Deliora, which is like the big demon. It dies because it was already dead. And then the next episode, there's another fight. And then the episode after that, there's almost a fight. So that wasn't the final battle at all, because there was technically a battle and a bit afterward. But whatever. I won't critique the episode titling too much. Apologies, I'm a bit ill as I'm recording this. After that... What was after that? Oh, I believe that it's now into the Erza stuff, because obviously we find out in the Tower of Heaven arc, I guess we'll call it that. Wait, no, it was the Loki stuff, wasn't it? It's the Loki stuff after that, isn't it? I think it is? Yeah, I feel like it's the Loki stuff after that. You know, where you find out that Loki is actually the Zodiac of Leo, and you find out his backstory, and then obviously, you know, Lucy gets his key. And then he gives them tickets, which they go and resort, and then we get into the Tower of Heaven stuff with Jalal / Zigrain. Obviously, that you can tell that the thing of, oh, but they're actually the same person. They were the same person the whole time, kind of being led up. Although, I did not believe that Zigrain was dead at the end of that arc, nor did I believe that Ultia was dead at the end of that arc, because I'm not fucking stupid. We don't ever see them die. So why would I ever assume that they're actually dead? Ezra's backstory is interesting, you know, like it's a nice moment when she cries out the artificial eye at the end of it, but, you know, again, it's cheesy power friendship stuff. But look, before you say anything, I am aware that that's like 90% of Fairy Tail's plot is power friendship nonsense. I'm aware, but I'm still going to mention it whenever it crops up. That's a nice moment. Yeah, pretty cool fight. Where Natsu eats the Ethereum, you know, he gets like scales under his eyes and shit, and he fights Jalal, Zigrain, whatever, who's got Zeref's magic, because that is relevant here with, you know, Zeref, and then it's revealed later in one of the episodes, where the Ultia isn't dead, and she was actually manipulating Zigrain the whole time. Well, Jalal, I guess, is his actual name. Zigrain was the fake one. There's that. There's also, oh, I have forgotten one arc, and that was the Phantom arc, where they destroy the Fairytale Guild and they have to rebuild it. Yeah, the only reason I remember that arc was, I was going to say, and then, you know, it's Gadgiel is a double agent, but might not be a double agent. He might actually just be stabbing Fairytale in the back, or is he stabbing the other guy in the back? Who knows? Gadgiel seems like a twat, so it's probably going to be that he's stabbing Fairytale in the back, because he doesn't like Natsu. That's probably going to be the crux of it. Because I'm not past that. As I said, I've just finished the Battle of Fairytale arc with Laxus doing his nonsense, where he gets exiled from the guild. And you find out Laxus is a Dragon Slayer. But yeah, you have the arc of against Phantom. That's interesting, I guess. You get the element 4. Juvia is introduced there. I feel like Juvia... oh, God. So she starts out as being this, like, weird, eccentric, stone-cold rain woman, as she's introduced. Ame Orna. You know, she's just weird, a little bit eccentric. Not in the flamboyant sense, but in that she's just fucking weird. And then her entire personality becomes being obsessed with Grey moments later. And then from that moment on. So Juvia is not a character, basically. Yes, she has a power friendship moment, you know, where she sacrifices herself for Kana during the Battle of Fairytale, where Kana then goes to fight Freed and loses. And then you get Mira Jane doing the Satan Soul transformation that she has. I'm kind of rambling on about art and nonsense. If you couldn't tell, I don't really think too highly of the Phantom arc. It felt just strange. And again, Juvia's character is irrelevant. The rest of the Phantom characters will probably never show up again. The Guildmaster of Phantom will probably never show up again. It introduced Fairy Law, which does come up again in the Battle of Fairytale. So, and Gadgiel, actually. I literally just said Gadgiel's relevant. So, that arc was basically there to set up Gadgiel, introduce Juvia, and, I don't know, go, look, the Guildmaster is actually, you know, strong. He is a saint for a reason, you know? Yeah, then let's talk about Battle of Fairytale. This arc is just a bunch of fights. Mediocre fights, if I'm being honest. The Gadgiel and Natsu vs. Laxus fight is actually pretty good. I can't lie, that fight's actually kind of cool. I don't know how I feel about most fights devolving into effectively fist fights, but sure. Fights Natsu's kind of have to, because other than Fire Dragon's Roar, he doesn't have any, and Brilliant Flame, sorry, Cawing. He doesn't have any like ranged attacks, so yeah. That's fine, same with Gadgeal, because they're both Dragon Slayers and getting a melee, sure. But I don't know how I feel about like Gray. Most of his fights seem to have been like melee range fights, even though he can attack from afar. Erza can shoot swords at long distances, but ends up I guess Erza fighting up close makes sense because she does swords and shit. Lucy summons things to fight for her, so that depends on the summons. Yes, most of the fights, honestly, in the Battle for Fairytail were kind of mid, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's cool seeing Mira Jane, do her takeover, go Satan Soul. That's cool, but it doesn't really amount to anything other than making Freed go, yeah, friendship, guys. But like I said, the Laxus versus Natsu and Gadgeal fights are actually pretty cool. I won't lie. And Laxus getting kicked out of Fairytail, obviously everybody saw that coming. And then we have the big thing of Jalal Zigrain is Mistogan. And clearly, even though he says he isn't Jalal, he clearly knows who Erza is and knows who Jalal is and knew that Jalal and Erza had a connection, even though, as far as we're aware as viewers, Jalal was always in the Tower of Heaven and Zigrain was basically always at the council, being a, Zigrain. So whoever Mistogan actually is clearly has to be some way connected to them in knowing who they were and their connections to Erza, because he didn't want Erza to find out that he looked like Jalal. But also, Jalal's not dead, because we also see in this arc, like I mentioned with Ultir, when she's talking to Hades, is I believe the guy's name, we see a Jalal floating in the ocean, because it's mentioned during the Tower of Heaven stuff that he fuses with the Etherean to keep it under control, which is something, I guess. So he's not dead. Again, I didn't think he would be. They wouldn't get rid of his character that easily. I mean, there were 3 characters now with his fucking face. Clearly, Hiromashima likes Zigrain's design, because he can't stop using it. So I imagine Jalal will show up again at some point and be stronger than he was, because he's absorbed the Etherean or whatever. And he might be an ally this time. Who knows? Probably. Yeah. It's alright. Fairytail, so far, it's not good, but at the same time, it's definitely not bad. I'm absolutely not wasting my time with it, because it's just something to mindlessly watch in my downtime between revision and exams, and playing Honkai Star Rail. But all in all, it's an alright watch, so far, at least. I'll do more of these as I get further on through it. Yes, I will be doing an entire, basically reviewing all of Fairytail across however many videos in 2023. Isn't that nice? Anyway, with all that said, let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments below. And with all that said, I said that fucking twice. What am I doing? Whatever. As always, I've been Animosity, you've been you, and I hope to catch you on the next time for the video. Ta-ta. For now.